They redid it. I'm like, if I don't get this, I'm gonna fucking hate myself. You know, because I need more plastic cracks sitting around my office.
Welcome to the second half, friends. I believe when we left off, we're heading into the office of the Inquisitor to get briefed on current events, because nothing says role-playing, like not just exposition, but also jumping in there just to do like a news recap of what's going on.
Antipho's kind of hopping as he goes into the room, pulling his pants on.
He sits behind his desk and says, "As you know, your personal efforts have led to the eradication of at least 2 entire subsects of the cults of chaos.
Yes.
We also believe that several followers of the general Chaos United have been caught up in our wake with the orbital bombardment. We have not yet confirmed whether the Gene Stealer and the Magos were both eliminated. Oh, sorry, Chaos Undivided. But
it's harder for the YouTube algorithm.
I mean, the harder for the YouTube algorithm would be saying Aurochs, the Besaid Aurochs playing Blitzball.
I'm just
Flambe bechamel sauce.
Hey, one of the best mini games in existence.
I agree. It was really good. So say we all. Where was I? Chaos
Yes,
Undivided. We believe
Yes.
several of their followers were picked up in the process. And while we may not have rooted out all of the heresy on the planet, I, of course, have several teams investigating to further defeat them. But, again, we are not resting on our laurels. We have never had such a immense victory over chaos in my time as the Inquisitor of this system. However, several additional facts have been revealed. With the Gene Stealer and the Patriarch both unaccounted for, we have sent teams as best we can into the Underhive. Several have not retorted back. Others have engaged sporadic contacts. I believe that there may be some final stronghold of Chaos cultists holding Gene Stealers in reserve.
I'll raise my hand.
Yes.
When we were examining the hive of the Gene Stealers previously, we found signs that the effluent they were using was similar to what we'd encountered in the lower hive when we first went to the tertiary data vault. That might give us a further clue to track.
He says, "Hold," and then begins typing something on his desk, and then rips the typewritten paper out and hands it to the servitor and says, "Take this to the armorer immediately." Let us continue. The information that you have just shared with me, Eshairr, is, I believe it will be immensely helpful. And I find it very odd that Chaos cultists and Gene Stealers were operating in such close proximity to the reserve tertiary data vault where we store our recipe for Imperial Guard rations.
Well,
Wasn't the hive underneath the factory that manufactured those rations? The rations that go to the Shrine World?
So he looks around and says, "This is news to me." I think, right? You haven't actually told him about this part yet.
yes.
No, I mean, we told him where we were, so I don't know if he knew
Yes,
anything of that
I
location.
don't think he's put it all together yet. And he says, "Very well. As you already know, I have several teams en route, several fresh teams en route to the Shrine World, Valorum.
Yes.
If I can get a message to them, which I believe I will be able to do in a few days, we will have them, with renewed vigor, seek out these rations that have been created. Obviously, this factory must be cleansed, and I will have the sororitas, as I have just ordered them."
Well, the factory was leveled, sir. They said
We
no
will
strike.
redouble the leveling, just to be sure.
Fair enough.
I will have, as I mentioned, the Sororitas cleanse the area and seek any further Genestealer taint.
Very well.
These have been the enemies we have concerned ourselves with, but they are not a threat for very much longer. Yes, the Patriarch and Magos, should they have survived the bombing, which is by no means assured, could continue to create their little nests. But the Tyranids, I believe, will be overwhelmingly destroyed. The defense satellite of this system has several unusual properties which draws those coming out of the warp towards it, ensuring that it will always be the first thing faced by enemies and new arrivals. What I have not told you is that the defense satellite is actually an artificial object, and that we have spent a century packing it with explosives.
Artificial object.
Yes, a sort of enormous moon object, giant hollow moon.
Ah.
It
To
had
what
several
end?
pieces of archaeotech on it, which enabled its unusual operation. However, Imperial Guard, loyal Imperial Guard, are being dispatched to draw the Tyranids to it and force the fight there. If they are unable to overcome the enemy, this great devourer, as you call it, we will destroy the planet and all of the Tyranid ships, bioships in orbit, ending the threat to the Tyranids once and for all.
Just a thought that the Tyranid's horde is usually drawn to the area of greatest biomass.
That is why we
If
have been
we-
sending Imperial Guard to draw them to that particular planet.
Yes, I wonder if the output that this effluent we discovered is biological in nature. Whether we could kill two birds with one stone by sending any we find to this moon.
I expect that in the next few days, the Imperial Guard will either overwhelm the Tyranid landers or they will be destroyed. And one way or another, the planet will either survive or explode. At that time, communications in the system should be restored. Reinforcements from this planet will not reach them before either outcome is achieved. I have run several strategic calculations, and I believe that our victory is eminent and overwhelming.
Very well.
Well, that's good.
So the Tyranids, I do not believe are a threat, although if they are, I will be asking our rogue trader friend for his assistance in intercepting them before they reach any other planets. There
Even
is
if they
still a great threat of heresy. Eshairr, you have something to add?
I was just going to say, even if they do overwhelm the defenders, it will take their feeder swarms several days to completely convert all the biomass. So there'll be time to prepare for the next onslaught.
I would prefer to remain proactive. There are enemies we know of that we have yet to face, and these are what we will currently be dividing ourselves against. I'm sure you recall the Festival of Fist incident. There was an object there known as the Throne of the Skyfather, meant to be a sort of holy relic replicating the Golden Throne of Terra. What you may not know is that upon further inspection, there were several Mechanicus objects that were attached to such a throne. They appear to have been receiving and sending transmissions. Loyal Mechanicus agents who still report to the Inquisition report to me that transmissions were sent to the nearby Forge World, and shortly after those transmissions, the fighting began. Consulting with some of these transmissions. I have reason to believe an ancient cult of the Imperium has sprung up, one that has brought heresy to us before.
The Dark Mechanicum?
Well, yes, the Dark Mechanicus also, as I mentioned, there were several Imperius Mechanicus devices attached. The Dark Mechanicus was also monitoring what was happening to this Throne of the Skyfather. What is important to realize is that at the same time as that battle with the Throne of the Skyfather was happening, Bryce Danger, the rogue trader, had entered the system, creating a sort of bridge between our system through the Great Rift to the other side. And the Throne of the Skyfather had received transmissions from the Golden Throne of Terra. It had been set to monitor the fluctuations coming from that device. In a moment of incredibly dark heresy in the past, Mechanicus agents had monitored these transmissions before, in a different time and in a different place. They began making mechanical and mathematical deductions based on these transmissions, and attempted to predict the future, believing that the throne was transmitting future events. This heresy was, of course, put down. But I believe the same thing might be happening here, that on the Forge world nearby, agents of heresy and chaos might be receiving these transmissions and attempting to interpret them in a way that will allow them to predict the future.
Regarding the Pharos, there's links that potentially connect it with the Necron tier. They're objects usually seen as technology. Is it possible that the Dark Mechanicus would have some knowledge of its location?
Possible. I'm going personally to the Forge world in order to investigate this heresy, in order to investigate the Dark Mechanicus, who are the only part of this Dark Inquisition who we have yet to face down with. But I fear that this is what our enemy has been waiting for. I have acted in the shadows for a century, and in doing so ensured my own safety. But I am the only Inquisitor until now to act here, and while Lady Pisha is, I'm sure, competent, our missions are quite different, and I have no reason to believe that she would remain here if more heresy was to arrive. She might simply destroy everything in this system and move on. And while that is a way, it is not my way. I am concerned, paranoid perhaps, that by forcing me to move openly, I might be working in my enemy's plans.
Would you rather not send us? Or do you prefer us
He
to...
sighs deeply while he moves his head and says, "That is one option that I have considered. There are some issues. There, of course, is a need to continue to look for the Pharos here. Although I do not refer to it as the Pharos, I simply refer to it as the Noctilith, or whatever that term for Blackstone is that I don't remember immediately, but that term right there. Because the Pharos is a one-time unique thing, and this is totally different. Absolutely different. I'm the writer of this scenario, and I say so."
So would you rather
Noctilith
us
is a
look for
word,
that?
yes.
You would rather us look for that then?
I need to leave loyal agents here, and you and your group have proven yourself loyal than some. More loyal than most, perhaps.
Do you have a general location where it could be?
I do not. Although I have had a team tracking the efforts of Bryce Danger's crew on the ground. So at the very least, we know where it is not.
He has.
And I've been looking for it for a century. And the Inquisitor whom I served has been looking for it for perhaps 20 years before that.
May I suggest that I reach out to the Eternal Dancer and see if there's perhaps one of the autarchs or farseers that could accompany you to provide additional assistance in forms of what the Eldari know of these technologies and the history of the Necrontyr.
I would not look at amiss, but they would be required to travel with me to the Forge World.
Of course.
While your Magos biologist friend appears to act rather positively towards the Eldari, I cannot say that an entire planet full of Magos will be particularly receptive towards Eldari influence. I would need them to, how do the kids put it, stay with the ship.
No profile. Understand.
I would need you to make these arrangements as soon as we are done here, then. I look forward to an exchange of dialogue with the Eldari. The Farseers have proven very useful.
I do have one question.
Yes?
How deep within the hive have you looked?
I've had a century to look, so everywhere.
Well, how far below?
I don't know how to say everywhere in a way that encompasses everywhere more succinctly.
So, absolutely. Lovely.
The issue is, of course, that the hive is always growing.
But I was just trying to see if I could get a general location where to start looking for it. My thought was to start from the very beginning and then work our way back up, but
I am about to formulate a plan, Lycus, that you might not like.
I
Dangerous.
am ears.
Absolutely dangerous. Possibly to your mortal soul.
All
I
right.
have some small measure of trust in your loyalty towards the Inquisition. It might behoove you to accept this Bryce Danger's offer, if only to learn what information he has, and then get ahead of him and bring it back for the Inquisition. We could use those Death Watch agents. I do not have access to such unique assets on a regular
Indeed.
basis. Our Space Marine contingent is thin.
They're more for the chaotic side.
No, they're anti-Xenos.
They're
Deathwatch.
Xenos, and we need them to help
I
hunt
was
down.
speaking for our personal regard for Marines, but yes.
Yes.
And then I will make arrangements with him immediately.
Understand, Lycus, I'm not ordering you to do this. Could very well cause you problems. You might be accused of treachery. A rogue trader might take revenge against you and your team in a way that he would never dare against an Inquisitor. And I hate to say it, but rogue traders' machinations run deep. Accepting this information may indebt you in a way that we do not currently understand, and you may somehow end up in his service in a way we cannot foresee.
Of course.
I will leave the choice to you as to whether you will accompany me to the Forge World in seeking out these arch-heretics who seek to unravel the mystery of the Emperor's wisdom in a way that the Inquisition has determined is greatly heretical, like super heretical. It's so heretical we've erased all knowledge of it.
Right.
Or if you'd like to stay here and finish off those pesky gene stealers and also do that thing where we find that object I've been looking for a century. You know, it's not like it's my mission in life or anything.
It's right. I'll see. I'll see what I can do to find it without having to resort to him. But if so be it, if I have to play the fiddle, then I guess I should start learning.
I will give you 1 Imperial day, which is apparently 24 hours and some amount of microseconds.
Is that part of the new?
Vigilus calendar, yes.
I've literally not learned that yet. You told me to put it as far back as I possibly could. And I
But
did.
don't repeat that out loud.
Okay. Should I move that forward then?
No. Just I need your answer by tomorrow.
Okay. I will mark 24 hours.
Antipho Renatus,
So,
you have been through a great ordeal. I
Yes,
have
sir.
had the kitchens of the governor's palace prepare for you a great feast. I hope you like duck liver that has been stuffed.
Absolutely, sir.
Good. That is only the appetizer. There will be 8 courses. Do not overindulge in dessert, for that is heretical. Now go.
there's like a cartoon shaped cloud in the shape of Antipho. You know, complete with hairpins and everything, just spinning.
I guess we get going and let Antipho enjoy his meal of his dreams. And
Well, all of you are invited to that meal as well. You have some small measure of reward, in addition to some assets I am preparing for you. Your acceptable level of service to the Imperium.
very well. Thank you, Inquisitor.
He gestures for you to get the hell out of his office.
We'll get the hell out of his office.
As you leave, Sororitas goes past you, and he says, "Excellent. I need you to return to this factory and set it on fire again."
Everything burns, even ashes.
Like, yeah.
So I will try to find a time to reach out to the Eternal Dancer.
Yep. You get a question. Or you get an answer pretty quickly.
All right, so put it back through the regular Autarch, or
Yeah, Tanya Serona.
Yep. Yes.
She answers. You can see that she is standing with a group of warlocks who have the cursed blade that you have given her floating between them. And there's like weird warp energies coming off it as they're all casting runes in front of them and chanting. And she says, "Yes, we are in the middle of a delicate procedure, but I have a moment."
Thank you, Autarch. Tanya. I wanted to ask something more of the group. The Inquisitor here is traveling to the Forge World to investigate some matters. At the same time, he is the one seeking the item for which the Farseer sent us here. And I think that it best that, while I can't attend to him, that somebody from our group joins him on the Forge World in the guise of an advisor with regard to the Necrons for which this artifact seems to originate, but also to ensure that if he does at any point find the item in question, that we're at least aware of it and able to shape how the fates draw that event to its conclusion, rather than be unaware and distant from that when it happens.
So she looks sideways and then looks back to you and says, Alicia, it would appear that you have had the true reason we have been sent here revealed to you.
Yes, the skeins are starting to make themselves more and more clear now.
Our last transmission from the Farseer was that we were to do as you commanded. That you were the center point of a incredibly dense and complex web. I will make one of the seers on board available, as you have requested, to this Inquisitor, especially if it is in regards to the webway.
It is indeed inextricably tied to the webway.
I have a gift for your Inquisitor.
I'm sure he'll appreciate it. What is it?
So she takes the Vox and turns it, and you see Talrond Aspect standing there, and he says, My name is Talrond Aspects, follower of chaos, cultist of Slanesh. She turns the Vox back and says, We have reprogrammed the Monkey that you have left with us to act as a sort of double agent among the humans.
Interesting. That would be of great use, I'm sure. I'll let him know as well.
We will release this Monkey to his use.
And Tanya, there was one other thing. I wanted to ask for you to pass on a message to the Seer Council as well.
She gestures to the Seer Council who are right behind her.
Yeah. I mean, more to the Farseers, but
we have no transmissions from the Farseers since the Great Devourer have arrived.
Well, hopefully that will be resolved at the same time that everything else falls together. But the way that fate has played out here has been awakening for me to a great degree. And so I wanted to let them know that once this matter is concluded, that I'm ready. I wish to rejoin the craft world, to step onto a new path, and to aid further.
So there's some incredibly small measure of emotion on her face as she says, You are ready to take up your name again, Alicia Miradithas.
Yes. It's that the weight of fate falls upon me now, and I feel this is the right path. That the path I walk now nears its end, and a new one is laid before me.
We have been waiting for you. I will report with some small measure of joy, which I will later repent for, when we can get word to the Farseer.
Thank you.
She ends the transmission before she can start tearing up.
Yeah. Okay.
In the back, the curse blade is pulsating with dark energy.
Tortured souls being drawn from it and screaming in agony as they do. I will rejoin the others.
You get that premium, human, delicious cooking. Ox ducken, foie gras, sandwich meats made out of real meat.
What little there is left after Antipho's been left to his own devices for God knows how many minutes.
Suffering days of torture. And
Lycus, I have good news, I think.
Good news.
Do you remember the mind-programmed agent of aspects that we handed over to the Eldari?
Yes.
Yes. It seems that they only vivisected him psychically, not physically. And he's been reprogrammed in such a way that he can be released among the other agents of aspects, if they still exist, to feed us information.
Hmm.
Let me be clear.
They
He
wish
now
to-
looks like Talrond aspects. The vivisection was very real.
So
Does that mean I get to kill him a second time? Eventually.
someone will.
Wow. I literally hand Pondo a Trojan horse to use in his regard, and he's like, what if we set the horse on fire with all of the soldiers inside?
Yes. That sounds like interesting news. I will report that to.
Yes, the gift is not for us; it's for the Inquisitor. But probably best if it
Yes.
comes from you.
Antipho off to the side with his mouth completely stuffed. Do I get to kill this one?
No.
Damn it.
It's quite lovely. You would have loved the display that I had. Quite interesting when you dissect a man in two. Anyway,
I once did that with a chain gun.
you didn't dissect him
Right
in
up the
two.
middle.
You just turn him to bits.
No, it depends on how fast you fire.
Anyway. I'm not sure. I guess we should figure out what resources that will give us from the Inquisitor and then report the new Trojan horse that we have. I guess evox the Inquisitor.
Yeah, you get like his voicemail.
Like a voicemail.
Yep.
Essentially, it's like I've just come to report that Eshairr has notified me that the decoy of Talron aspects that he left of us, they have repurposed his mind and image to be of him so he could be used as a Trojan horse, so to speak. They said they have prepared it just for you. That'll be in the message.
Okay.
I feel like in 40K, all those sort of old school parables are slightly changed in name. Like they've established in the books that, like in the 40K universe, they know who Shakespeare is. They just call him Shakespeare. He was and they consider he was an M1 or an M2 philosopher. Likewise, it's the story of the Trojan horse might still exist, but they have no concept of what Troy was or Greece or any of that sort of stuff. So it's like the
It'd be like Trohan.
Well, there's a
Equus,
lot of them too. There's a lot of them too when Imps is having flashbacks to his 30,000 years of existence. So
I guess we go
50,000.
check to see what sword resources have been given to us.
I'm sorry, guys. I literally cannot remember the name of the incident where the cult Mechanicus was like, let's look at those transmissions from the throne, and they're like, oh shit, this is predicting the future. It's going to predict the Great Rift. It's going to predict all this stuff. And the Inquisition was like, heresy. It happened. I know it happened. I just don't remember what it was called. Specific name for it.
I don't remember a unique name.
But it happened.
Probably happened.
And
I
the
believe you.
Inquisition was like, yeah, we're going to just cover all this up.
Well, I mean, the Inquisition, freaked out too when they learned that the Mechanicus was bringing in Dark Eldar to work on the Golden Throne. So,
That seems like a reasonable thing to freak out about.
it is, thought to be Eldar technology. So
That's heresy. Blame.
Heretics. Blame. I just noticed I didn't press my fancy effects button.
don't.
Don't do it.
But now I want to press it. I'm not going to because I'm not voxing anybody.
Don't do it.
I'm not.
What's your plan? You guys you have several paths to take. You can take. Apparently, one of those paths does not work for Bryce Danger, which you apparently all are in agreement with.
My plan is to engage even more fully with this wonderful buffet.
Okay, great.
In how many films does the bad guy have an Australian accent, Arthur?
I don't know. Listen,
Or
I'm an
some-
American, and I know that our traditional enemies have been Mexico and Russia. Okay, I've mentioned that on this show before.
Except in movies where it's always British for some reason.
Well, no,
Well,
it's
actors,
British
It is
movies where
generally
the
British.
British are the
British
bad guys. Yeah,
Oh, British actors is what I meant.
yeah, but
Or at the
those
very
are
least, a
British
British
films.
accent.
No, I was saying Hollywood hires British actors to play a lot of our bad
I
guys.
agree, but when you look at television series, the bad guy's always like, "What's up, homie?" Or they're like, "I am evil Russian guy." I mean, that was professional wrestling between the 50s and the 80s. Even into the early 90s, it was just like, "I'm the Russian guy, I'm the bad guy, let's fight, punch, punch. America wins again, oh no."
That's wrestling though.
Okay, I'm sorry that I can't say the Mexicans and the Russians are the bad guys in literally every category of media. I'm just saying traditional American enemies.
I mean, they did invade Texas during World War One.
I mean, Texas invaded
did?
Texas.
No,
Texas
I mean,
was its own country from Mexico.
no,
and
I
the
mean
United States.
Mexico invaded Texas at the beginning of World War One.
I have no knowledge of this, but that sounds bitchin'. I mean, the Nazis tried to ally with both Ireland and Mexico
Yeah.
for World War II.
And then we sent what was it, Patton and a bunch of the early Cav guys down into Mexico to go hunt those guys down.
The bad guy in Commando is Australian? I'll buy that.
He is actually when
Wait,
he challenges Arnie to a
From
knife fight.
Danger Danger isn't the bad guy here. He's a good guy.
I don't buy it.
I think he's a rogue trader. I think he's by definition a
Survey says
questionable
no.
actor.
He's a great guy.
He's a man of questionable morals. Of he needs money.
Questionable. What has he done that would make you question him?
He's a rogue trader.
Wow.
Yes.
Maybe the fact that he wants to lead demons into the webway to sabotage the Eldar.
Yeah, that there have been several Imperium plots to do exactly that.
I don't know that. I probably do know that. The Eldars are our friends. We've been working on this.
Are you sure you remember the Inquisition?
We've been working on an alliance.
I don't think he is a member of the Inquisition. He hasn't tried to kill another Inquisitor yet.
There are no allies. There are just useful tools.
Wow, the Eldari really have you fucking mind fucked. The Eldari are our friends. They'd never hurt us.
I like how our two, like
That's
the
not
two,
true.
so let's put that down official record. The two Eldari contacts are Yvrain with Gilliman, and then this campaign. It's official. It's canon. Write it up.
Did
Wow,
Inquisitor
Chad is
mentioned
just
something
coming up
about
with Australian villains, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Is it bad, James? That I was sitting there for about 2 minutes trying to remember if that guy from Commando was Australian or not. It's like I don't know if that was just a really bad accent when he challenges Arnie to a knife fight, or
isn't the bad guy in Die Hard Aussie?
No,
Yeah, an
he's
AUG.
German or something.
no, he's German.
No,
There
it's
was
German.
Yeah, no, he's German.
He had an AUG,
Straight
which is an Australian rifle.
Which is a
No, it's an Austrian rifle.
Yeah, it's Austrian.
Austrian.
The Australians use it.
That's
But it's
What are we
Austrian.
talking about? An AUG?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's made by
Cyrock.
Steyr.
that's right.
That's a good rifle. Although Ratosaurus is going to pop out of nowhere and be like, "It's shit! It's fucking shit, Arthur! You're wrong!"
Come on, I mean Hugo Weaving in The Matrix, Kate Blanchett
I mean,
in Thor
if-
Ragnarok.
If it suits the Australians and their environment, it should be an alright
I
gun.
didn't know that Kate Blanchett was Australian.
Bullpups
but man,
are
she
terrible
makes a good
triggers,
villain, though.
Yeah, Jeffrey Rush from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh my god! No, don't take him from us. I thought he was British.
No,
Man,
No, he's
I mean,
he's
is he really the
very much
bad
not
guy of
British.
that movie, though? That's pretty questionable.
Yes. Yes.
of the first one.
The first one,
Again,
yes.
the first one, I feel like there are several. There's like a coalition of bad guys.
Yes,
Jack
he's one of
Sparrow's
them.
plan is to literally get all the British people killed at the end of the movie.
His plan is just to get his boat back.
By killing
all he's-
everyone in every regard. He wants to kill all the people that betrayed him. He wants to kill all the people that want to
Sid?
hang him.
Pirate.
See, it's a ship.
My apologies.
a good point.
It was a ship.
That's
It
that
doesn't go
entire
underwater,
series,
it's not a boat.
essentially. It's Jack Sparrow wants his ship back. When he gets it back,
Jack
some
Sparrow
shit happens.
is a villain in the first movie. It's my Ben
That's-
Mendelsohn.
Oh, he's not at all
Really?
the villain.
Not
No.
a villain at all.
I
He's
feel
just
like
a man
he's
who
the
wants his
villain
damn
of
ship
all
back.
3 of the movies.
He's just trying to reclaim what's rightfully his.
Maybe
I
not
think
in
he's
2.
an
In
agent
2,
of
he's not the villain.
agent of chaos, really.
I could
I'll-
make a strong case for 1 and 3 that he's the villain.
Okay.
I disagree.
I know.
What are these resources that have been given to us? As far as the
I
Inquisitor
haven't decided
mentioned?
what assets to give to you, but some
okay.
sort. Some.
That's why I'm trying to buy you time here, Arthur. That's right.
Oh well, I've just spent the whole time arguing. Just like general money and stuff. So if you wanted to buy more equipment, you would have something on hand to sacrifice in that regard.
Okay.
I could get some power armor.
Don't you already have power armor?
No, he has carapace armor.
And I mean, you should probably get some power armor.
Might help.
I mean, that would be fun. Look, if there's a piece of power armor that you want, you can just get it now, reasonably priced. Let's look and see what you could do gifted.
There's like the light powered armor.
Yeah, there's
Which
light
is-
powered armor.
I mean, what can
Imperial.
you even wear? You can't wear Space Marine armor, right?
Nope.
You can only wear like regular people armor.
I can't even wear Space Marine armor yet.
There's Sororitas power armor. There's Ignatus power armor.
I'm pretty
there's
sure
heavy
that's
power
not going to
armor.
work for him.
Yeah,
I think it looks smashing into Rora's power armor.
with the high heels.
With the high heels.
He'd probably get light power armor. That's about.
It's
So
pretty.
it's going to be
that's-
tight in certain locations and very loose in others.
Yeah.
Tempestus Carapace isn't power armor. What? Oh,
No.
you have. It has to say power armor.
correct.
Okay.
It's just carapace armor is just. I mean, it's thick plates, but I mean, I have carapace armor as well.
The only benefit it gives them, it just gives them an extra strength.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
Look, if you want a set of light power armor, that can be the Inquisitor's gift to the team.
I'm searching the PDF.
Okay, that's page
page-
301.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's armor rating 4, so it's the same as Tempestus Carapace. So it won't actually increase your armor, but it will give you +1 strength.
Well, that's
Oh,
not
is
very
the
fun.
Ignatus armor Inquisition specific? Is that what?
Yes,
Cal-
that's what Lycus
that's what-
has.
that's
that's
what
what
Lycus
Lycus
has,
is
yeah.
wearing. I'd be okay with that.
Jesus.
It gives you 5 armor, which gives you +1 to your total current resilience, and it's powered 2, so you get 2 strength bonus on your melee weapon attacks.
And he could actually use that big chop he's been carrying about forever and ever with it.
No, I got rid of the big chop
No, you
and
sold
turned
it.
it in
No.
for wealth.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Very sad.
Did you forget about that?
I did.
Well, we just need to fight orcs again and get another big chopper
I'd be okay with that.
for us to not be.
I mean,
able
I
to
do
use
have the
that.
chainsword, which actually I think did better than the big chop anyways. but-
Yeah, it did.
It's because
for
you're not
sure
an
did.
orc.
Well, he doesn't have the strength to put behind it.
Heavy power armor. That's always fun. No. It's cumbersome, which I believe is a bad thing.
That's the big thing about the Astartes power armor is I don't think any of it has the cumbersome keyword.
Except for Terminator.
Well, yeah, but then you're a Terminator, so you don't give a shit.
Fair. I think the idea about that is because the black
Carapace.
carapace. Yeah.
Yeah, in the FFG games, the usually wearing power armor ups your character size, but for Space Marines, they don't get upshifted in from normal to large.
What is the armor you have? The Ignatus?
The Ignatus, yes. Then it's light power armor, which could help you get more guns.
Light power armor is what like tech priest engines use and stuff like that. Where
There's not really anything that I want or need.
Could use some more firepower.
So no Terminator armor?
Yeah, no.
You wouldn't be able to use the Terminator. Force. You need psychic.
I think you
powers
might
for
be able to
force
fit
touch.
into one of the legs of a Terminator armor.
You fit into it. You just couldn't make it go anywhere.
If we organize it together,
3 kobolds in a coat.
I'd fit. I just couldn't do anything with it. I'd just be like, sort of like, yes, I am invincible. Can't move.
Nothing will touch you. You
Just
don't
can't
go
move.
anywhere.
Not anywhere because it's not directly interfaced with my central nervous system.
Get some chain fists so you can punch and rip stuff apart at the same time.
Yeah. That's one of the big things about Terminator armor. It's like, oh yeah, it comes with a free storm bolter and power fist.
I could go for some Ignatus, I suppose.
you know what would give you more armor than power armor? Being inside a tank.
That it would. Yeah.
Probably
Can we get a
it's
tank?
probably cheaper to get the tank.
Brody,
too.
get out.
Mine.
Take it over.
So
Really
Acolyte, what's our first move once we finished gearing up?
My guess is to either look for the Patriarch or perhaps try to find our special artifact. Granted, I have no idea where to look in terms of that. Though,
I mean, the Inquisitor spent a long time looking for that, and we don't really have any leads that he doesn't have.
could we ask the throne? Is the throne still existent?
What
We don't
throne
know
are we
what was
talking
in that.
about.
The Golden Throne, of course it exists. Heretic.
No, the
The throne of the Skyfather.
yes.
You want to go take a trip to the other side of the planet and go take a look at it?
I don't.
We
see
don't know
why not.
we don't know what transmission it sent, do we? Only that it sent a transmission to the Forge World, then the fighting broke out
Correct.
momentarily after that.
And that there was a Dark Mechanicus device attached to it as well.
Ooh, plasma gun.
Everything you just spoke about is completely outside of my area of expertise. So if we're doing that, I'll be standing watch.
You know, James, I really appreciate how in character you keep your knowledge.
That is really my only guess. I guess we should. Man, the options are too high. Well, I'm
the
going
Inquisitor-
to.
Go ahead, sir.
I'm going to phone in case there's any sort of readings to have them readings or reports of possible location for the Patriarch to me. Send them to me, and I guess we start with the Thrones of the Skyfather. See if we can muster on information about that.
Well, also, Cinnabus seemed quite interested in the fact that the effluent we found in the factory was the same as we encountered near Tertiary Data Vault Hoplon. Maybe we should investigate further around there. Maybe that will lead us towards the Patriarch. That seems like something which is closer to investigate with a more direct lead.
Perhaps.
We followed the river upstream. Now we seem to have to follow it downstream.
Do we still have access to that Valkyrie?
Let's say sure, why not?
It's like,
It's gonna there's a team out there working on it.
Yeah, Antipho took the keys when we left.
Of course I did.
They're specifically re-oiling the door that accidentally opened to allow the map to flutter out.
of course.
When you approach, and there's a tech priest nearby that's just watching everything happen.
I imagine that Kalrak has the keys because they had a little tag on it that said remove before flight. So he took them. He's just following the tech priest's instructions. It said remove before flight.
Great wisdom was bestowed upon me.
Just following the directions.
The tech priest standing nearby says, "Acolyte, Do you require this vessel?
I do.
I will expedite our servicing of it. You should note that there are several issues which need to be resolved. However, I have a 98.5% confidence in its flight capability at present.
Very well. I'm
Oh, is
sure there
it?
should be no problem with my two skilled pilots.
Do not worry. Should any issues occur during flight, you will be dead long before you realize that a problem has occurred.
That sounds lovely.
Your deaths will be painless, if only because your pain receptacles will be unable to handle the incredible G-forces slamming you into the planet.
Thank you.
He nods toward Kalrak and says, "The flesh is weak."
But the machine is strong.
Within 5 minutes, they finish wrapping up. Armorers are just wiping everything down, and they've left that little new car smell. One in the front at the cockpit, and one in the back in the drop area.
But I just imagine the first thing that happens is
freshly packed grav chutes in each of the drop areas.
Antipho sits down and then immediately hangs some fuzzy dice. Like, I just imagine that's something he would do.
Absolutely.
I will on a grab shoot just in case.
Where do you want to go?
I guess we go to where we're going to go downstream.
So you're going into the
Near the
planet
data vault.
core?
The data vault.
You're gonna ride a bongo to the planet core.
Yeah.
So I learned earlier, James, that Thunderhawks all have jump packs for parachutes. All of them.
Okay, that's all the content I have prepared for today. Next episode should be the finale of this show. Season 1 finale, I should say.
Can I take a moment to observe that we got through 3 hours and 10 minutes without rolling a single dice?
I mean, that's what happens sometimes when you're in exposition land. There was so much exposition today. I mean, literally the whole game has been playing up to this. Yes, there's a Pharaoh's thing, and there's all these factions, and there's so much shit going on, but we really need you to find this device so that we can play nice with the Eldari. That has been the entire campaign's focus. Find the device, play nice with the Eldari.
Playing nice.
I think we've done a pretty good job of playing nice with the Eldar.
So I was attempting to about to shoot Eshairr when I was told to. But I kept on getting interrupted, so I couldn't.
Sounds like the words of a follower of Zinch.
Yeah.
Sure.
I thought maybe we might spend the last 30 or 40 minutes here, if you all wanted to, maybe talking about the campaign and how you've liked it so far, or maybe we can just talk about Dark Heresy 2nd Edition and how maybe we're going to have James run a campaign of it, I guess. I mean, that works out in a lot of regards for me. And it's not like I want to heavily push us in that direction. I do want to heavily push us in that direction, but I also know that it's important for the whole group to be involved in the process and to want to do that as well. And if they don't, I'll find something else.
So I have some questions for you, Arthur.
Yes.
So first off, because you did ask in the Patreon group, which you can see if you join Arthur's Patreon, including
Patreon.com/APGamingREAL.
Yep. Ultimate platinum version.
Or if you not ultra platinum, or if you subscribe on Twitch, you can also get access to that group.
That's right.
I get more money if you subscribe on Patreon, though. So.
So you did ask as well in that group about whether people would be interested in running a game for you. I'd just like to understand, is that something that you've had audience ask for, is to see you play? Is it something where, I mean you've got some GM burnout would like to play as well? Or
to some extent, yes. Audience members have said they'd like to see me play as a character. But also, I just run so many games, and I have characters that I would like to play at some point. and GM storylines that I would like to fuck up with some ridiculousness. Like, I just want to destroy somebody else's game really badly. That
You
was
are
what
very
Burning
good at
Crowns
that.
was. Yeah, I know. That was Burning Crowns. Eric was like, shit, man, there's no way you're going to be able to form a city. And I was like, bitch, I just formed a city overnight. I paid for it. It's mine now. The dice roll said I just did it. He's like,
How
well,
else will you invade Equator?
yeah. Oh, you're talking about that was
You invaded a fucking. You bought an aircraft carrier and invaded a fucking country.
Yep, that was for Cyberpunk 2020. Yeah.
That's where I was introduced
Henley
to the
was
fuckery that AP could get up to.
Henley was like, go do this mission. And I was like, man, the person who gave me this mission was a real piece of shit. Let's go to his house and kill him.
Yeah, if there's anybody watching that has not watched, there's anybody who has not watched the Die Party Night City campaign over on Henley's channel, the first one, you need to watch it to see how much fuckery AP can get up to, because damn, did he get up to some fuckery. The first 5 episodes, I was like, wow, this AP guy's kind of a dick. And then he killed somebody with a Cadillac, and I'm like, all right, I'm in. That was a catalyst. That was the tipping point. It was like, all right, just kill the man with a Cadillac. It's like, all right, I'm all about it. Let's do it.
Yeah, so, I mean, I just have strong opinions on how storytelling can go, and I often have my own character stories I want to tell. And the thing is, I don't like letting other people GM on my channel. I have no control of the storyline or what they might say or where the thing might go, and I'm a super control freak. But I also really want to play, and no one invites me to games on their channel. So I have to rope the GM over here if I want to do it, if I want to play.
I think of giving campaign control to anybody, giving James control of a Warhammer campaign is a pretty safe bet.
I am reminded of the Dragon Age one shot.
You totally turned the party against me, Sid! You turned the party against me!
You did that yourself.
I did. First off, don't quote Star Wars at me. And second off, no, I didn't. You were like, I drop a penny. And I was like, hey, you dropped a penny. You should take it back. The rest of the party's like, man, we should steal that fucking penny. And I'm like, what? He just dropped a penny. It's a penny. Give it back. At the end of the game, everyone's like, Arthur, you should have let us steal that penny. Fuck you, Arthur. We're going to kill you now. And I'm like, it's a penny, guys. It's not worth killing me over. And they were like, it is worth it.
No, see, that was a perfect example of Arthur trying to have his own fun in the game.
Have my own
like,
fun. I was trying to play a lawful good paladin character. Everybody
you
else
want to
is
have
like,
fun?
murder,
Watch
murder.
this. I'll have some fun.
No, Sid, I'll tell you, no, that is not the game I did that on. I did that on your Mech Warrior one-shot special where we all played Northwind Highlanders, and I was just like, you know what? Let's not even try to stealth into the area. Let's just kill everyone in the mech bay by spraying them down with bullets. And you're like, there's no way this will work. And I'm like, wow, that roll says that we just killed everybody with bullets, huh? Wow, weird how that worked out. Is that critical?
Yeah, and how I also completely fucked up the rules.
That's okay. We were really good at rolling dice, which in the end is the only thing that matters.
That's true.
That's my answer, James. I know that took about 8 minutes to successfully explain, but
no, look, I mean, for me, so first off, I think I said to you before, Arthur, like in my own gaming environment, I am more often than not the GM, and that is usually my preferred spot. Like you, I prefer to be running a game than playing a game, and I do like to play from time to time too. And I've really enjoyed this game. You know, if a way to keep this game or to keep this channel, the Warhammer channel, going is to swap over and have you be a player and me be a GM, then I'm more than happy to support that. Even oh, sorry, don't make it. I'm not trying to make it sound like that's an ultimatum. It's more just like it's.
I think
it is an ultimatum.
It would be worthwhile for everyone's time to, until Gen Con and the re-release of Wrath&Glory, to maybe explore like 20 weeks of Dark Heresy, and then jump back for Wrath&Glory Season 2.
Yeah, I think that's, and that was going to be another question I had, would be, if we were to do that and we were to say to change to Dark Heresy, would you try and keep the same characters going in the same narrative, or would you like to do a completely different narrative?
I think we need to do a completely different narrative and return to Wrath&Glory at a later date if it improves in substance.
All right.
Because I know that Atomic is not a fan of Wrath&Glory.
I'm just not a fan of the balance. Everything else I came around to after getting used to it. But
the only issue
those
I
are the
have with
main problem.
the only issue I have with Wrath&Glory is essentially pretty much the combat, where it does seem like it's very swingy, where it's
I
the high
understand.
damage stuff is high AP.
You believe that the center point of a system and a story framework that is about engaging in mortal peril is the worst part of the system. Yes, I understand.
Yeah. So that's it.
So
Everything else is
great.
perfectly fine.
Probably the other consideration I'd throw out is if you're looking at doing this potentially as an intermediary between seasons of Wrath and Glory, if it improves itself at Gen Con, would be, do you still want to do Dark Heresy, which is a Inquisition focused game just like Wrath and Glory, or like, just like this campaign has been, or would you also consider things like Rogue Trader, for example, take it in a different sort of style of the elements of 40K? Like what would
that
be
is
the
less for
preference
me, and that would be more that what I would open up to the whole group.
and the audience too, I think.
Well, the audience will take whatever I give them.
And they'll like it.
Look, in project management, there's an idea that all stakeholders must be appeased simultaneously. But for me,
you never get to delivery then.
For me,
Yep.
Look,
I know that one very well, especially over the course of this past week.
Look,
Yeah,
let's have a
all
meeting
stakeholders
about
should be
this.
considered.
yes,
all stakeholders
exactly.
should be considered.
Listen, the two of you are project managers just like me, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Even if I'm not saying it correctly, you know that everyone that is a stakeholder needs to be involved in the final product to some measure and often at an equal measure. All
They
of
need
them
to
must be
feel
happy.
like they're involved.
Okay. For me, it's streaming. If the players are not happy, then the audience will not like the show. It doesn't matter how good we are. If people aren't involved, it will be crap. So it's not that I don't appreciate the involvement of the audience. It's simply that players are the core component of the show. What they want to do is slightly more important than what the audience wants. I'm sure there are many people who want to see a Dark Heresy show, but would love to see only war instead. They would be happy with any Warhammer content. So I would open up the floor to everyone here. Yes, we've been saying Dark Heresy, but technically all of those systems intercombine, if I'm reading this correctly. Right? Like,
yeah, sort of.
you can create a character in any one of them and transfer them around, even if it doesn't
Correct.
work.
Yeah, and I have done games before with a mixture of characters from different sort of settings, and it works for the most part. They actually said at one point, has an unprecedented level of compatibility, and it's like that word doesn't mean what you think it means, because there's some real pain in converting across. But yeah, it's I mean, for me, I've run the most Dark Heresy and Rogue Trader. Certainly, my observation of the other three. So, Only War and Deathwatch are highly. It's difficult to do in my personal opinion as a GM to do involved character stories, because when you're talking about military campaigns, which Only War definitely is, and Deathwatch is in a way as well, is that it's pretty much my motivation is to do what I'm told to do. Is to go and do this mission, my next set of orders, etc. And I'm playing through that mission, and there's not a lot of chance to explore, and without a bit of hard work, to explore the characters. And as you know, Arthur, I spoke to you before, like character story is something that is a big part of gaming for me.
Correct.
And Black Crusade, which I love, always ends in a TPK at the party's own hands.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I mean, that's just what the system is. I mean, the whole point is to try to, reach that glorious ending, which you either succeed at or everybody dies. That's how it works.
I don't want to say that some people in this group might be a little bit predisposed towards screwing over other players. But I mean,
Yeah, Pondo.
Yeah, Pondo, what the fuck?
Black Crusade certainly gives that option. And so, if you've got people that like screwing other players that don't like being screwed, it can, you need to have the right group there as such. So
Yeah.
if for me, if it was a preference, I would preference between Dark Heresy Second and Rogue Trader, and they're both different styles of game. So it depends on whether you want to have, the world is your oyster, explore and develop the story that you want, or you want to have that sort of deep conspiracy that you are following, in a similar style to what we've done with Dark Inquisition.
There's a lot of leeway you can do with Dark Heresy too, whereas you can have just by having an Inquisitor who's more or less involved in what they do. I've done campaigns where there's really only been either we do something great or someone fucks up so royally that the Inquisitor hears about it through one of his other little tendrils that he's got in the on the planet. And then there's kickback that way. It's like, okay, there's a lot you can kind of there's a lot of, it's more or less go about it as you see fit. There's really not, unless you fuck it up royally, there's not a lot of kickback. But at the same time, if you do something that's just good, it's like, okay, you did that. You were expected to do that. What do you want? A pat on the back. It's like, get the fuck out of my office. Right. So it works both ways. Only war is definitely a thing of, even with the best, I played an Only War campaign, I don't know, probably about 2 years ago, which is probably the best one I had, where even then the best interaction that we had was still very much like a Saving Private Ryan kind of thing, where they're all brothers and everything else. But once you kind of learn each character's flaws, you learn how these guys are, these guys who tote the autocannon around are buddy, or, whatever. It's like, there's still, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, well, you've done that, but now you're just guardsmen fighting. And if one of them dies, it sucks. But then you get a new guy, and then you learn about the new guy. And so there's some new stuff there for a couple of sessions, and then you go back to just guardsmen fighting. Death Watch is much the same way, in that the stakes are higher because you're Space Marines fighting substantially more dangerous enemies, but you're still, once your kill team is kind of, all together, and the quirks from each chapter are kind of been worked out, blah, 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 whatever. It's still, okay, your Space Marines fighting Xenos at the end of the day. And so I definitely think Rogue Trader and Dark Heresy has a lot more just breadth you can kind of just do a lot more with there. And even if I know people who have never a day in their life played like Only War, so they only play Dark Heresy, but they pull from the talents and some of the like the units and the gear and all the other stuff from Only War, and they will pull that into that game. So you have a lot more resources you can use there before having to homebrew a bunch of stuff too, which can be nice from a GM's point of view.
One thing I'll quickly say about Rogue Trader is that I've observed that it needs something of a player contract, not a physical thing, but just everyone to agree the fact that there is someone in the group plays a Rogue Trader, so that person, their character is by default the party leader, but of course it's a game that a group of people are playing. So in any argument in a real sense where the Rogue Trader wants to do one thing, everyone wants to do something else, the Rogue Trader gets their way. But in a role-playing game, sometimes you need to work out how the group's going to handle that in terms of the Rogue Trader giving equal mind share to the other players, despite from a fluff point of view, them being the one in charge.
Yeah, and all of them have that, in Only War, it's whoever's the lieutenant or, God forbid, the commissar. That's why a lot of games don't allow commissars, is because even someone's like, oh, I won't be that bad. It always goes to their head every single fucking time. And there's a reason why I've never got to play a commissar in any of the FFG games, even though I've had a custom one forever, until Wrath&Glory, that one shot we did. I'd never played a commissar in any of those games because they're just reviled by everyone because they're assholes. I mean, that's their job. So, I mean, in any of I think Death Watch might be the only one really where you don't have a designated leader. I know in
every session you've got to work out who the leader for that.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I know in my
the same in Black Crusade too.
I have a Black Crusade game that's on hiatus at the moment, but it's coming back relatively soon, where my Warpsmith is the de facto leader by the fact of, well, he's competent. He hasn't gotten anybody except the normies, aka the normal humans, killed. And that was pretty much his own fault because he's an idiot. So we're just going to keep letting this guy be in charge because he hasn't steered us wrong yet. And then we stole a battle barge. So I'm kind of de facto leader now. But I very much am okay, we're doing an assault. Let's listen to the assault marine. Okay, we're doing a whatever, let's listen to the close combat specialist or whatever and get some input here. Let's not just, I'm in charge, this is my way or the highway, whatever. Even if you have to do it out of character, just to kind of see how people are feeling, you can still kind of you can even still complete group, do what other people want to do, but do it in a way that is very self-serving, I guess, as a rogue trader too. So it just really kind of depends on who ends up being in that position.
I mean, I'll say that I know you guys are into the books and the video games and the lore, but the majority of my exposure to Warhammer 40K is through the webcomic Servants of the Imperium, which is a Dark Heresy comic, and
which is awesome.
Yeah, well, the ending was a little rushed, but the whole thing taken together was quite excellent. And the All Godsman Party, which starts out as a game of Oni War, and the survivors of that unit join a Dark Heresy game.
Right, how do you feel about gazebos?
So, I mean, most of my exposure to Warhammer 40K has been Dark Heresy based. I haven't heard anything from Pondo or Sid here, so I would like to hear what system interests you guys. Sid seems confused, or maybe he wants a cup of coffee.
I'll go first.
Coffee would be good.
Yeah, my experience with with Dark Heresy hasn't been the best. But I guess I thought it was the second version edition, but I guess it was the first.
Yeah, it very much sounded to me, James, you played the first edition.
It wasn't the best, being that I failed every roll that I was supposed to be good at, which is the 40% line, so I had 60% chance to fail, which we did.
A lot.
Yeah.
Except for the one bullet that counted.
Yeah, then just the one BS roll, just because I had to shoot someone out of principle for calling my character a heretic. But depending how we do it, which I guess we're going to do it where we're not going to have that 40-60 chance of failure, then it might be fine.
I would turn to James for...
So just to how they balanced the sessions originally was in Dark Heresy First Ed, you started with 500 XP, and a standard session was between 300 and 500 XP. Then a starting Rogue Trader character was the equivalent of a 5,000 XP Dark Heresy character, so about 10 sessions in. And a starting Deathwatch character was the equivalent of 11,000 XP Dark Heresy character. So what, 23, 24 episodes in? Or
how much does it cost to increase the skill? But not
depends. So
anything's 100 points or more, basically.
Yeah, and it's based on what so every class gives you starting aptitudes, which could be like ballistic skill and athleticism, whatever the hell. And based on what your aptitudes are, certain things are cheaper for you than they would be from somebody else.
And it comes down, I think, Pondo, to gaming style, or to GMing style too, because if you in any of the Dark Heresy First or Second Edition, a person who is a skilled climber is okay. In Dark Heresy Second, it's probably going to have a 60-40 chance, but an unskilled climber is going to have like a 30-70 chance, likely to fail. And so, if the GM puts a challenge that can only be overcome by everybody climbing it, it's sort of doomed to failure as well there. So it comes down to creating scenarios that work to what the characters. Because it's a classic example of the stealth check. It's like in a D&D group, you're always going to have someone who's wearing heavy armor and who sucks at stealth. So you need to tackle stealth situations in a different way. Yep. You can't just have everybody try and stealth.
Yep.
Every paladin ever.
Every paladin ever.
And with it's like the first time I played it, I didn't really know anything about the lore of it anyway. Aside from the big space marines and whatnot, yada yada yada. I think going back now, knowing a bit more about the lore will probably be a good refresher. So I'm intrigued on how it will go. And I'm not too, obscure to the idea of there being an elected leader to something. This one in Wrath&Glory, I was essentially the elected leader by being the acolyte essentially. So But though I kept in mind to always refer to you guys because you guys are part of the team.
I mean, technically, we're all actually acolytes. Just acolyte as a class, and anyone who serves an inquisitor who's not an interrogator is an acolyte.
Yeah.
Right.
Or a meat shield.
Or an adept.
Definitely a meat shield.
Or just a really smart person who stands around and knows stuff, because apparently that is a class in Warhammer 40K. It's just because there's no electronic computer stuff, right? Just people who know a lot of facts.
There are people who literally what was it? What was his name? James Eisenhorn's
I know who you mean.
Anyway, he was a guy who was, he was moderately smart, but then he caught some rare disease or something, which made him like literally just a human database. And he would just stay up for like days at a time in like just consuming information and could just recant it off the top of his head, like an eidetic memory, but just he wasn't that until he contracted a disease, and now he's got an eidetic memory and all this other bullshit. So yeah, this 40K is fucking wild. I've done Dark Heresy campaigns where there was no acolyte, air quotes. It kind of just came down to either everybody kind of puts their kind of votes on what they do next, or if, let's say, oh, you're dealing with a Mechanicus, so let the tech priest kind of be in charge, or you're dealing with the underworld, so let the ganger take the reins or whatever. It wasn't a one single role. Is another way to do it.
Sid, what do you got?
Regards to Dark Heresy?
Well, just in regards to picking a system, or heresy darking, or Dark Heresy.
I mean, to me, it doesn't necessarily much matter, because no matter which system is chosen, my dice rolls are going to be equally shitty, regardless.
100s all day.
There's no D6s. No D6s in Dark Heresy or Rogue Trader.
Yeah.
Well, that didn't stop him last time I played Dark Heresy.
Yeah, it really didn't. I mean, I had
one system
elevator drop on my head more than once.
The one system we're rolling ones. It'd be 100s.
A lot of in the 90s areas.
Oof, big oof. Mm-hmm. Don't use plasma weapons, please.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what way it needs to be. It doesn't matter if it's low or not. It just matters what way. And he goes to that direction. I was there. I saw it happen.
Yep.
Yeah. We just need to get you a hell gun, and then you can roll 90s and whatever, and there's no downside.
He played what I'm going to say was akin to a tech priest, and he rolled a
tech priest.
Yep. He made a roll to communicate, and he got like a 95, which broke his transmitter, his like a voice transmitter. Yep. He did pass a roll that did eject a whole bunch of people out a chute. Now, granted, it didn't take care of the guy that we wanted to take care of, but it took care of most of the mess.
No, it seems like the only times that I ever roll well is when I am mass murdering people or lying about it.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Sid. You can be heavy weapons guy. Oh, Sid should play an Ogren. That would be fucking hilarious.
And so let me suggest something.
Yes.
So if I'm gonna, if you're happy for this plan for me to go ahead and run this, that I'm in the interest of time going to reuse stuff that I've written and run previously with other groups.
Sure.
At a core, like obviously modified for the characters themselves, at a core level, and so what I could do is I could send to you guys a pitch on the setup.
Yes, please do.
For either Dark Heresy or Road Train. You guys can discuss those and see which setup you like the most.
I mean, the thing is, I don't know anything about the Rogue Trader game, so I lean towards Dark Heresy. It sounds like
mechanics are the same.
Yes, but it's not
other
the
than
mechanics.
The ship stuff.
It's the story. Right, I mean, the whole point is that the mechanics should relatively be interchangeable. My understanding what rogue traders do is to just basically go beyond the bounds of human space and be like, yo, what's up, aliens? Convert or die. We're going to take all your stuff back to the Imperium. Woo! Nice ale. Tasty.
That was one of the reasons I used Rogue Trader when I did my 40k LARP, because a lot of the people playing that were people who never played 40k before, never read 40k, and Rogue Traders often break the rules of the Imperium. So
I mean, they have
easier.
They can.
They can, yeah. It was easy for players who didn't want to have to learn how to be a solid Imperial citizen to be able to just like, I want to do what feels right to me.
What is it? It's anything that in the end goal furthers the ambitions of the Imperium, I guess. The ends justify the means.
Yeah, beyond the edges of the Imperium, they carry the Emperor's power, so they can basically act as though they were the Emperor in anywhere beyond the Imperium. Within the Imperium, they have the same level of power as a governor, a world governor.
Yeah.
Look, I'd be okay with you sending 2 pitches, and then we sit down and talk about what sounds good.
Yeah. I can be a tech priest in either. I'm good.
Isn't that also your plan for season 2 of this show? Is to just turn into a tech priest as well?
Maybe we'll
Man
see.
just wants to play tech priest, I guess.
Look, I play tech priests and I play warp smiths or tech marines. If I have a type, all right, it's the one who blows up the things with technology.
I mean, if I had to type, it would
Or
be
steal,
waifu, but
or steal
we
spaceships.
might be talking about different things.
Yeah, well.
I did not get one smile for that, and I thought
I
that
smiled
was
on the inside.
Smile on the inside.
Counts. When I come up with these snappy, less than stellar comebacks, all I want is just some acknowledgement that I said anything at all. It doesn't even have to be good.
I'll repent for my emotional outburst later.
You can eye roll. You can hit me with that Ratosaurus eye roll.
James, I know you're in the Imperial Fist. 5 hours in a pain glove.
Okay, so I guess our plan is to have James write us our future storyline, and we'll choose between them, our fates.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
All right. Well, I mean, I have Dark Heresy 2nd edition, so I can take a look at it. What do you mean this isn't the waifu show? We had that one girl duet for a while before I killed her. That's funny.
That was
Great.
it.
The sororitas keep showing up just long enough to die.
It's crazy how that goes.
The sororitas are just like, all right, we're on the front lines now. Oh, geez, we all died. That was super surprising.
Because they're really the only infantry we had made.
Well, no, we just let them die.
Yeah.
Space Marines are valuable. I'm not putting them up front. You crazy?
Arthur, I'll probably hit you with some technical questions too in the meantime.
Technical
We didn't have
questions.
enough guardsmen.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means.
Questions of a technical nature?
Yeah. No, I just can't even begin to think what could require technical. I will answer them to the best of my ability. Speaking of the best of our ability, let's do some outros. And like the game, The Last of Us. Let's speak to The Last of Us, Sid Alpha.
Yes, I would apparently be the last.
You were the last one to
us.
do intros, so you're going to be the first one to do outros.
That pencils, yeah. Hello, thank you everyone for coming to watch. This was a fair amount of fun. I apologize I didn't have a great many scenes this evening, but when Antipho's got to eat, Antipho's got to eat. That's the way we do. I should be back on my YouTube channel with a new video tomorrow about the whole GOG refund situation and the developers freaking out about that. So that should be fun. And we should be back on Thursday for some more Battletech, which is always good time. That's all I've got.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of Battletech, let's talk to somebody that will be in that stream, and that's Grimdark James.
Hello. Yes, I had a great time tonight. I love these sort of narrative exposition role-play games. It was really, really good, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the story concludes. I'm also looking forward to being on Battletech next week, provided the internet gods on my island are hearing my prayers. And it's keep playing 40K, keep playing Battletech. Everybody enjoy life. Hope you all feel better. You the rest of you four who apparently had a shit time recently.
You know, for a good time, call 867-5309. And you know, speaking of 867-5309, the guy who had it written next to his place for like 10 episodes, Pondo the Mad. Let's do his outro. I erased it after a while, like last episode.
No, we did.
No, I erased it.
Oh, we erased it at one point.
It was still there.
Because me and James tried to erase it with the eraser, and then
I assure you it was there.
we realized that, oh, we got to use the text tool. It was really funny. It was like I got the eraser out, and then James right next to me had the eraser. We were just trying to get rid of it, and it wasn't working.
So about that outro.
Yeah, I am Ponder or Ponder the Mad. You can catch me on YouTube or Twitch/Ponder the Mad, or you can catch me here Thursday nights playing BattleTech, or you can catch me on whenever they come out doing the board game Cold or the Pokemon. As well, you can also come to my stream Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern with my own 5e adult game set in my own world. That is, well, was mainly a Witcher type game until now. I'm kind of getting into more story type stuff.
So I just wanted to circle back around that. Are you saying that 8 o'clock Eastern Sunday nights, you're playing a D&D 5e game that's just stalled in a Witcher type setting that's all about ponies?
No.
That's what I heard.
It was last week. Yes.
I mean,
Hopefully not
so
this
far, technically, one of our biggest story arcs has been the pony customization arc.
Yes.
I mean, like time-wise, it's pretty big right now.
That sounds like a really good anime arc name. I don't know what it would be about, but pony customization sounds like a good arc name.
That probably exists.
You know, like Diamonds Are Forever, or
I imagine it has to be some sort of isekai MMORPG.
Listen, not
world.
everything is isekai.
What it feels like nowadays, all right? You can't deny that.
Lord of the Rings is an isekai, bitch.
I don't care.
I don't know what to do with that.
I'm not I'm not a big fan of the movie.
Speaking of someone who doesn't know what that word is, me.
Yeah.
You can also find me on Pondo's stream. I do a little bit Eastern European accent on Sundays. Yeah, I'll be over there, or you can catch me here on Wednesdays for New Game Plus 5e game where we slowly all go crazy.
The stream
Factually
does annoy me
true.
sometimes that as someone who speaks German, the word is Gestalt, not Gestalt. Anyway.
Yeah, Pondo, you bastard. Or you can catch me here. And then catch me at twitch.tv/TomicWarsmith for whenever I decide to stream things. But I've been hit by the fatigue pretty hard lately, so it has not been very often. I'll finish Mechanicus someday, I promise. That's pretty much all I got.
Okay. We'll be back next week for what could be a finale. And I just want to fill you in, audience. Next week's final map will be a variation of Pondo the Mad's Patriarch base map on Steam. Unfortunately, Pondo has a whole shit ton of issues with that map, which I have solved by erasing 90% of the issues.
Really?
Yes.
Is
a
it
lot of objects don't appear, and there's no textures on several others. But I have solved your problems using the power of the delete key.
Interesting, because all those things were within the
I would point out that there
Yeah,
are
Bob.
comments on your map which tell you the same thing I just told you.
All hail the machine spirit of the delete key.
Yeah, but I also thought that it's because they didn't have the assets from the
I got them. Didn't
40K.
work. I'm sorry, Pondo.
because I pulled
We
them
had
from
the
the
same
maps they
issue.
had.
So there's
We had the same
been
issue with the Tauroxes, remember?
there's been in Pondo's defense, there has
It
been
all
some
started with
workshop.
the Torox.
There's been some workshop asset fuckery because I downloaded a bunch of stuff I was messing with the other day, and even though I had the stuff downloaded and whatever else, like 3/4 of assets were not loading, like regardless of what I did. So
I'll
it might not. I'm not saying it's not his fault, but I'm saying it might not be all entirely his fault.
I'll look into that. I have no idea if I'd be able to fix it or not. That, or I just attempt to fix it replace it with something else similar.
All right. Next week,
Okay.
you're going to get that premium Pondo the Mad map mixed with a little bit of that
Okay.
AP Gaming Real smoothing over, you know? He's the chocolate and I'm the vanilla with the strawberry on top. That makes it good.
That is a thing you just said.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Don't make it weird, motherfuckers. Don't make it weird.
I mean, that's the way we do.
We're out.